A lot of people still have doubt because they want to throw shade. They just can't grip their mind over the fact that uh, how I performed in a fight versus them.
I don't think it's a bad fight, Sean. I mean, I think it's a good fight, and it's not a fight that shocked me because you have to understand in boxing, the best are fighting the best.
Terence Crawford has just shared his view on his upcoming fight with Canelo Alvarez on September 13th. On the other hand, Abel Sanchez said Terence Crawford is a great fighter, but weight classes exist for a reason. He explained Canelo Alvarez proved himself by beating top opponents as he moved up. Sanchez said moving from 140 pounds in only 14 or 15 months is risky, and without years to build proper size like Canelo did, Crawford's task will be much harder.
Terence Crawford is a great fighter, but that's why we have weight divisions. I think that Canelo has proven as he has risen in the weights. He's dealt with the best in his weight divisions that he's at now. He fought Bivol, and Bivol couldn't hurt him. He fought my guy, and my guy couldn't hurt him in 2 fights. The third fight I wouldn't even count as a fight. But to have a guy come up from 140 pounds in such a short period of time, I'm not saying he couldn't have done it. If he'd have taken 3 or 4 years like Canelo did and built up his, not only his strength, but his bulk in the correct way, he would have had a better chance. But to do it in these 14, 15 months that he's done it in, it's going to be difficult for him.
Moreover, Abel Sanchez further said the first few rounds would be tough because of Terence Crawford's speed, similar to when Gennady Golovkin fought Kell Brook. He explained that once Canelo adjusts to the speed and movement, Crawford will slow down from the extra weight. After that, Sanchez believes it would turn into a sparring session for Canelo, as has happened in many of his recent fights after the 5th or 6th round.
I think that it's a tough fight at the first 3 or 4 rounds because of his speed, just like when we took Golovkin to fight Kell Brook. Kell Brook being a welterweight was a little faster, quicker at the beginning. But once Canelo assimilates the speed and assimilates the movement, and Crawford's going to be a lot slower because of the weight also. Once he does that, I think it'll be a sparring session for Canelo, as it is in most of his last 4 or 5 fights. After the 5th or 6th round, it seems like it's a sparring session. He's doing whatever he wants.
Abel Sanchez lastly said adding extra weight may not help Terence Crawford. He's curious to see Crawford's fight night weight and mentioned reports of him being around 180 to 190 pounds. Sanchez believes dropping to 168 could be too much, and that 158 to 160 would have been better. He said coming in heavy will likely make Crawford slower and won't increase his punching power.
Do you feel like people don't realise it with Crawford? Like when he's putting this weight on, this is almost weight that may not even be beneficial to him.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to benefit him. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he weighs fight night. If the reports that I've read, he's up at 180 pounds, 190 pounds. So if he drops down to 168, I think it'll be too much. I thought that maybe 160, 158 maybe was the best form. But if he's comes in at 168 or 170 pounds by fight night, 175, I think it'll be too much. I think it'll be slower. He's not going to punch any harder just because he got the weight.
However, Terence Crawford said he feels like he is finally getting the respect he deserves. He explained that many people now recognize his skills, especially after the way he defeated Errol Spence Jr. While a lot of fans give him credit, some still doubt him and try to downplay his win. Crawford said they made excuses, claiming Spence was not the same fighter, stayed too long in the weight class, or was dealing with other issues. He pointed out that he had predicted people would say these things before the fight even happened. In the end, he believes he is getting the recognition he has earned.
Do you feel like you're finally getting the credit that you deserve?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think a lot of people, see my talent, they recognize it, and the fashion that I've defeated Errol Spence Jr. in. A lot of people give me my credit now, and a lot of people still have doubt because they want to throw shade. They just can't grip their mind over the fact that how I performed in a fight versus them. So they would say, oh, well, he wasn't the same fighter, or he was hurt, or this and that and this. He stayed in the weight division too long. But the crazy part about it is I had already stated that those was going to be the excuses come fight time when me and him fight. But all in all, I'm getting my respect.
Moreover, Ben Davidson said he likes Terence Crawford, but strongly favors Canelo Alvarez in the fight. He explained that it's not just Canelo's size, but also the many layers to his game that surprise opponents once they face him. Davidson admitted he finds it hard to see a clear path for Crawford to win.
Canelo Crawford, I'll just get your thoughts on that fight, please.
Yeah, look, you know, I like Crawford and I like his guys and that, but I heavily favour Canelo. So yeah.
What, is he simply just size, just too big?
Not just size, you know, there's a number of factors, and I think that a lot of people picture Canelo to be a certain something, and when they get in the ring with him they see how many layers he's got to his game, and I just struggle to see a path to victory for Crawford, if I'm being honest.
Ben Davidson said Canelo Alvarez has shown some inconsistent performances, but would be fully focused against Terence Crawford. He believes Canelo respects Crawford's skills, but still has multiple ways to win. Davidson said that when the fight was announced, he saw it as a clear Canelo victory. He still struggles to see any realistic path for Crawford to beat him.
From the night you worked with him, with Billy Joe, that is, against Canelo, do you see a version which has slowed down since?
I think he has on and off performances, and being honest, when it was first made I thought Canelo, like, not even, like, don't even need to look at it. Then Crawford boxed Madrimov and I thought, then Canelo boxed Skull and I thought, oh, so then, but no, yeah, I think he has a few of those performances here and there, and he just looked disinterested, but I think he'd be well up for this fight. And I think he's got a healthy respect for Crawford, but like I said, I just struggled to, I can see a number of paths to victory for Canelo. I struggled to see a path to victory for Crawford.
John Ryder said Terence Crawford should use Dimitri Bivol's in and out movement as a game plan against Canelo Alvarez. He called Crawford an exceptional fighter who has achieved greatness across multiple weight classes, but warned that the size difference will be a big factor. Ryder believes it would have been better for Crawford to build up gradually at higher weights, yet acknowledged that great fighters take big chances when the opportunity comes.
You faced Canelo. If you could give some pointers to Crawford, what should he do to come out victorious in September?
I think you just got to watch the Bivol blueprint, the in and out. I mean, a lot of fighters getting stick now for being runners, Tom and Jerry and whatnot. But stick to what you're good at. Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. His one titles through the weights, undisputed at, what was it, 3 weights now. And listen, if anyone can do it, it's him. I think the weight will be too much of an issue. Canelo is a special talent. And I think the weight will play a factor in the fight, but listen, Canelo once done it and made the step up to super middleweight. I would like Crawford to be more at light middle and middle to build into it, but you take these opportunities when they come, and that's what greatness is.
Richard Johnson said Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is a 50-50 fight, but admitted it's hard to go against Canelo at 168 pounds. He thinks the size difference could be the deciding factor and believes Canelo might be too big, too strong, too experienced, and too physically imposing for Crawford to overcome in such a high-stakes, career-defining matchup between two elite champions at very different natural weight classes.
Last question, Rich. Canelo Crawford, September 13th, arguably the biggest fight since Pacquiao, Mayweather. Who you got?
I don't know. I want to say Crawford, but it's like you can't sleep on Canelo either. 168, that's a 50-50 fight.
You think the size is going to be the determining factor?
I ain't gonna lie, no, I think Canelo might get in. I think he's too big.
Amir Khan said Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is a great matchup and not surprising, as boxing is about the best fighting the best. He credited the recent investment in the sport for making big fights like this possible, comparing it to other huge bouts such as Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua's top-level clashes. Khan said it's an amazing event for boxing fans, as both fighters are at the peak of their careers and have achieved so much. He believes there is no real loser because both will deliver high-level entertainment, making it a tough fight to predict.
I don't think it's a bad fight, Sean. I mean, I think it's a good fight, and it's not a fight that shocked me, because you have to understand, in boxing, the best are fighting the best. And, you know, with the money that Turkey Sheikh's got now and pumped it into boxing, the best are going to have to fight the best. And we've seen some mega fights, for example, Usyk and Fury and Joshua and, you know, all the top guys are fighting each other. So this is great to see that Turkey's making these fights happen that we never thought would happen. And for, sorry about that, guys, that noise. But I was just saying that I just feel that it's an amazing fight for boxing fans. This fight is because there's no loser in this fight. Both fighters have hit their best. They've hit the peak of their careers. They've achieved so much in the sport of boxing, and I just don't think that there's a loser in this fight because both guys are winners because they're gonna give such great entertainment to the boxing fans. I mean, it's hard to see who's gonna win this fight. Is it going to be Crawford or is it going to be Canelo? It's a hard fight to solve for us.
Sean Porter predicted that Terence Crawford will beat Canelo Alvarez. While he acknowledged it is still a competitive fight, he personally sees it as 60-40 in Crawford's favor. Porter believes Crawford will do something against Canelo that no one has done before. He said this prediction isn't based on seeing Crawford's camp, but rather on knowing Crawford's abilities and understanding that to beat Canelo, a fighter must bring something unique and different.
I'm obviously going to say that this is a 60-40 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's going to win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
This is me knowing Crawford.
Okay.
And also me knowing, like, you know, hey, in order to beat Canelo, you just got to be different. You got to do something.
Robert Garcia stated that despite many fans questioning Terence Crawford due to the size gap with Canelo Alvarez, he holds a different view. He thinks Crawford's speed, agility, and skill set make the matchup challenging. Although Canelo brings power and experience, Garcia believes Crawford's quickness offers him a genuine opportunity. He noted that Canelo tends to win, but no longer exerts full effort or displays much diversity, often doing just enough to secure victory. According to Garcia, this could create an opening for Crawford to seize control.
It's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give Crawford.
I do give Crawford a chance, of course. You know, Canelo's last few fights, you know, he does his work.
Garcia also mentioned that Canelo currently fights more like a businessman than a hungry competitor. In his latest bout, Canelo appeared slower, more stationary, and relied mostly on single punches instead of fluid combinations. Garcia said this lower intensity might give Crawford an advantage, especially if Crawford stays smart and uses his footwork well. Considering their current career stages, Garcia feels Crawford has a real shot at victory.
He gets work done, but never does that little extra to please or to he knows he doesn't need to anymore, so he's just comfortable enough with just securing the win. He became a businessman, and I think that could be something in favor of Crawford, that if he comes out in his best and good footwork, you know, Canelo is flat-footed. He you know, his last fight, especially against the runner, he was throwing one punch at a time, didn't even try to be aggressive and get him into the ropes, throw combinations of 4 to 5 punches. He never even tried that. So I think at this stage, I am giving Crawford a big chance of maybe putting it up.
Mike Tyson expressed that he's not a fan of Terence Crawford challenging Canelo Alvarez, mostly due to the significant size difference. He believes the weight gap is too large, making the fight unfavorable for Crawford. Tyson referenced Crawford's recent close bout with Israil Madrimov, noting Madrimov's size, awkwardness, and tricky style. He felt Crawford shouldn't have accepted that fight, thinking Crawford would have performed better against a more straightforward, aggressive opponent instead of one with such an unusual, jerky approach.
What do you think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo?
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, you know. And he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. Right. Should have fought a guy that was just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky-jerky.
Dimitri Bivol, who beat Canelo Alvarez, discussed Terence Crawford's move up 2 weight classes to 168 pounds. At first, he was unsure if Crawford could handle the size jump, but after seeing him recently in Dubai, Bivol noticed Crawford looked bigger and showed strong boxing ability. He described Crawford as one of his favorite fighters and believes Crawford has a genuine chance to win.
First reaction, of course, it was about size of Crawford. Is it okay for him to move up for 2 weight classes, yeah, or not? But then I saw him in Dubai maybe a month ago. I saw him. He's big, and he has very good skills. He's one of my favorite boxers. He able to win this fight.
Bivol also highlighted some uncertainties, stressing that Crawford needs to adjust to the greater power and intensity at the higher weight class. He said the result will depend on how Crawford feels on fight night and how well his training camp prepares him. Bivol added that Crawford's skill to switch between 2 distinct boxing styles gives him an important advantage.
But there is a lot of but, and even not but, there is a lot of things, small things, which we don't know how he will deal with this. He needs to get used to the power and pressure of 168 because it's different, big difference, to be honest. Maybe he will get used to it, and how he will be feeling himself on the same day when he will fighting, how his training camp will go on, a lot of things. But he's able, he has good skills, he's awkward, he can use 2 boxing stance. It gives him benefits, of course.
Lonnie B is still sure that Canelo will win and says his opinion hasn't changed. He expects the early rounds to be close, but believes Canelo will gain control as the fight goes on. While recognizing Crawford's skill, Lonnie mentioned that Israel Madrimov gave him trouble. He thinks moving up from 160 to 168 pounds will be tough for Crawford, especially with Canelo likely weighing near 200 pounds on fight night. Lonnie also noted that Canelo has never been stopped and doubts Crawford can keep him away.
I think you favored Canelo to win the fight?
Yeah.
Has anything changed from then? Is it now closer?
No.
Has it not changed?
Nope.
Nothing.
I think it's going to be a good fight for the first 4 rounds. I think Canelo's size just going, take over. Like I said, I could be wrong. Crawford's phenomenal. But from what I've seen with the kid Makronov and the way he gave him trouble moving up 2 more weight classes, 60 to 68, and Canelo going to come in about damn near 200 pounds. I just think I just don't think Canelo's never been stopped, and I don't think he's going to be able to keep Canelo off of him.
Roy Jones Jr. said he isn't concerned about the size difference between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He believes that when a fighter has Crawford's skill level, size matters less. The main question, he said, is whether Crawford can handle punches at the higher weight. Jones feels confident he can, noting that Crawford has probably sparred with super middleweights and light heavyweights during training. He explained that true skill travels with a fighter as they move up in weight classes. For Jones, it's not about size, but the skill a fighter brings to the ring.
When you know how to box, when you're as skillful as Terence Crawford is, weight don't really matter much. Only thing that matters with the weight is can you take the punch. And I'm sure you've been sparring with super middles and light heavies, so I'm sure you probably can take the punch. So that's the only thing when you got skill. Now, if you don't have a skill, you can't take the weight, take it up, because you're gonna lose your punch, you're gonna lose everything. When you got skill, all your stuff that you have goes up with you. You talk to the GOAT. I went out with a heavyweight.
No, it's a lot of the people, which is why I brought up, would use the weight as an advantage for Canelo. But I agree, and you're right. Canelo fights obviously taller fighters all the time and wins. It's about skill as opposed to, a lot of the time anyway, as opposed to weight.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not really worried about the weight. I'm worried about the skill level that they use during the fight.
Brian Norman Sr. confidently chose Terence Crawford to defeat Canelo Alvarez, sharing that he's learned not to bet against Crawford after losing money before. He now believes in Crawford's talent, calling him a highly skilled and smart boxer. Having watched Crawford up close, Norman described him as a tough competitor with the boxing IQ to find ways to win. He rejected the idea that Crawford beating Canelo is unlikely, insisting it's very possible because of Crawford's skills.
I got Crawford. I'm sorry. I'm about to say Canelo. Where'd that come from? I got Crawford, man. I learned to not bet against Crawford. I won't bet against Crawford again. I lost a lot of money betting against Crawford. So you know, those days of my life are over with. I've drunk the Kool-Aid.
You're a believer now.
I'm a believer now. Yeah. Crawford is that guy, man. Crawford is that guy. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, and you know, right. I've seen Crawford personally. I've seen him in the ring personally, and I mean, he a bad man. So I'm gonna have to say, just like with my son, I'm gonna have to say, just with the boxing IQ, with it's certain things, man. It's certain things. I think that Crawford is gonna figure out a way to win. I don't think this is so. I don't think for how some people are looking at this, I don't think it's so far-fetched that Crawford can beat him. I just don't see that so far-fetched as some people trying to make it.
Shane Mosley shared his thoughts on the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight, calling it a clash between two elite fighters. He believes both are very skilled, but sees Canelo's physical strength as a key advantage. Mosley noted that many fans underestimate how strong and tough Canelo is inside the ring. While Crawford may be more accurate and technical, Mosley feels the size gap of two weight classes gives Canelo a clear edge. He expects Canelo to control the fight and likely win comfortably, though he still respects Crawford's skills.
I think it'll be a great fight. I think both guys are great fighters, but I think Canelo's just too big, and you know, they mistake him as being just a guy at 168, not a regular guy, and Crawford being the more talented. But that's not the case. They're both talented. But the only thing is, Canelo has them by two-weight division. So I think that Canelo beats him pretty easily. But we'll see. If Crawford does good, I mean, kudos to Crawford. You know, I'm happy for him. If he can pull off, great. But my mental, my mind's telling me that Canelo's gonna probably beat him.
Shane Mosley said that for Crawford to win, he must be patient and smart, using footwork to keep distance and reduce Canelo's opportunities to land clean punches. He explained that Crawford needs to stay active, not to run away, but to control range and avoid risky exchanges. If Crawford remains disciplined and moves well, Mosley believes he could turn the fight in his favor. Still, Mosley favors Canelo, noting that despite Crawford's skill and determination, the jump in size might be too much to overcome.
I think that maybe I don't have to be all the way boring, but it has to be boring spots. Yeah. So just because he's moving around and keeping his distance don't mean that he's running, right? Yeah. So if he can move and just stay a little bit outside the pocket long enough, then maybe he can win. But I'm thinking Canelo's gonna win. I think Canelo's gonna get a fight because Crawford is a fighter. He's a true fighter. He's a real fighter, but he's in a growing weight division.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about Canelo versus Crawford upcoming clash? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.